Tasha. Oh, okay.
I just broke this.
Oh.
I'll give it like one more minute for some people to get here. We can get this back on.
This is just this is just this is
Yes,
presenting
we're not voting.
yeah. Do it in one of your senators' reports. Do what? Sure. No. Because you're not a public. You're a senator. You're a senator. I'm a
Two crazies. I hereby call this meeting to order at 8:32 p.m. Secretary Schaus, can you please call roll?
Here. Vice President Jacobs.
Here.
PRC Murphy.
Here.
Webmaster Harmon.
Here.
Executive Treasurer Lorenz.
Here.
Executive Aide Pacha. Assistant Treasurer Doyle. Senator Donaldson. Senator Lennon. Senator Walton.
Here.
Senator Hernandez Garrity.
Here.
Senator Hertzberg.
Here.
Senator Wilcoxon. Here. Senator Maldonado. Senator Neiman.
Here.
Senator Parizo. Senator Westphal. Here. Senator Abraham. Senator Hildebrand. Here. Senator Robb. Senator Vada. Senator Mandel.
Here.
Senator Williamson. Here. Senator Ward. Here. Senator Cavender.
Here.
Senator Bakri. Here. Senator Melton.
Here.
Senator Howard. Here. Senator Sedler. Here. Senator Flanagan. Senator Demir. Senator Blasquez. Senator Palmer. Motion.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment. Are there any public comments here or on YouTube? All right, seeing none, moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve or amend the agenda?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, moving on to senators' reports. Are there any senators' reports tonight? With there being 3 meetings left, I would like to have 2. Senator Wilcoxon.
All right, so Athena Society is having an event for Denim Day like they do every year. It's a fashion show. And so this week they're going to be tabling for anybody who wants to sign up to be a model at that fashion show. You can show up your best like all denim outfit. And if not, still come to the event. It's at 6 p.m. in BB's on April 27th. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wilcoxon. Is there another senator's report tonight? I'm going to be strict and keep to it. We're not going to move on until I get another one.
Yes.
Senator Lennon.
Good job, okay.
Water main broke. I mean, at least it's not the university's fault. That's just a Northwest Indiana thing. That's it. Yeah, end report.
Thank you, Senator Lennon. Do not drink your water until it has been lifted. Just yeah, boil it. I just have a quick report. Besides the vice president report, if you are a junior and interested in applying to the senior class gift committee, that application is out now. So let your junior constituents know about that. All right, are there any other senators reports tonight? All right, seeing none, moving on to advisors report.
Yes, thank you, Ben. So I'd like to point out that whenever a water main breaks, it's typically not the university's fault. Water mains just break. It happens to water mains, even when they're on campus. They're literally decades and decades old. So this oil advisory is a result of a main that's broken south of campus and in the city. They're doing some construction in that area, so I suspect that there's been an issue there. But 48 hours is the typical range of time because they have to do several clean water tests before they're allowed to, let people begin to drink the water again. So my guess is it'll probably be fixed within a short order, but they have to have several tests within a 48-hour period. So that's the reason for the time, and that's the reason for what's going on. So really want to point out that it's a very fun weekend coming up with lots of activities on campus. There are lots of things happening. Color for a Cause, the oldest university tradition, Song Fest on Sunday. If you've never seen that, you get a chance to see your Senate leadership in action at Song Fest, right? Benjamin and Jolie here. And then we'll have the Leadership and Service Awards at the university on Sunday evening. So that, amongst many other things, very busy weekend and lots of fun activities happening this weekend. So get out and play. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend out there, so enjoy it. And lastly, I'd like to announce that the Senate will have one of the commencement speakers this year. So congratulations to Ben Jacobs, who's been selected. Congratulations, Ben. Good job.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thanks.
Are there any questions for the advisors? All right, seeing none, we're moving on to officers' reports. President Ford.
All right. So I texted in our GroupMe chat earlier, but again, the Student Organization Gala is on Sunday, May 1st at 6 p.m. in the Union Ballrooms. I need to get a head count. So if you were able to look at your schedule and know you will be in attendance, please raise your placard now and I will take that count. Okay. I'll probably reach out to you guys over email too, just so I can get people who aren't here. So yeah, just keep me updated. That was like around 7 people, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I get to that, I did want to let you all know that Vice President Jacobs and I are currently putting together a report for the city of Valpo regarding various student issues like lights and crosswalks. So if you have anything that you think should be included, you can always reach out to me over email. We also have our 2022 Senate Superlatives. This is something we do every year. We're going to announce these at our last meeting. You can take a look. There's a couple of fun things that you can fill out. It's just a fun tradition. And it just makes us proud to be Student Senate. All right, any questions for me? And report.
Thank you, President Ford. Now, please pay attention to me in my report and not go to your superlative thing just yet. You can fill that out after. So we have 2 meetings left after tonight's meeting. So like I said last week, President Ford is going to go over this in the executive committee agenda piece 2. I said that today was the last day for you to come to exec if you have an SR. That was to give you a 1-week buffer to do anything to your SR if you still have to work on that. But really, if you have any legislation that you want to pass, a bylaw proposal, Senate resolution, or a constitutional amendment, that needs to come to exec committee next week in order for it to pass by the end of the year, because we need that 2-week for new business and old business. So make sure that if you have any legislation that is going to exec, please contact President Ford for that. We're currently working on preparing for the last General Assembly on May 2nd with the new introduction of the new transition ceremony that we have under our new bylaws. Instead of the General Assembly being sworn in the fall, we now have them being sworn in at our last meeting along with the executive officers. So we're just working on how to kind of make that a precedent tradition and how we can kind of make that into a ceremony, as well as procedurally with the new General Assemblies electing committee chairs and everything in that. So we're working on how to do that procedurally and to its best performance. President Padilla will also be at our last meeting, kind of wishing you all well for your work this year. So just look forward to that. We will also be working on transitioning soon. So with the elections coming up on Wednesday and May 2nd coming around the corner really fast, our executive team will be working with committee chairs along with our own positions to make sure that we transition well, especially with the new bylaws and constitution coming our way. So we'll just be working on transitioning. We'll be working with the committee chairs on combining emails. So we'll be combining, say, for example, the admin and finance email into operations. So we'll just be kind of cleaning up everything so it's ready to go for May 2nd when we transition into the new legislative session. I will be compiling an end of the year report for our final constituency report. So I won't ask you all to go talk to your constituents, but if you have anything that you would like me to put in this end of the year report, please let me know. This will be ready for our May 2nd meeting. Just let me know because what I'll be doing in this, I'll just be talking about what we've done this past year. But if you have anything new since the last constituency report that you would like me to put in, please let me know that. Like Steve said, there's lots of events happening this weekend, so go support student organizations and just have fun. There's a lot of stuff coming up this next week and the week after that, so just go out, support student orgs, have fun yourselves, and try to get back into those traditions while we kind of come out of the pandemic. So President Faure and I are performing at Songfest. If we get quorum of student senate there, so 14 senators present, President Faure and I will perform at next General Assembly. So 14 senators.
That's news to me.
Yep, 14 senators will perform it at General Assembly next Monday because we are proud to be student senate. Are there any questions for me? All right, moving on to Secretary Schaus. Secretary Schaus.
Hi everyone. After that announcement that the Vice President will perform for us, I hope you all show up because we should be really proud to be student senate. In the report.
Oh, this night's chaotic. All right, moving on to Public Relations Coordinator Group B.
So just to let everyone know, we are still working on this little document just to outline the apparel guidelines for student organizations in case if they want to purchase any apparel or any sort of materials like that. We are proud to be in Student Senate.
Thank you, PRC Group B. Moving on to Executive Treasurer Lorenz.
I also don't really have much to say, but I'd like to reiterate what Secretary Schaus said and come out and see Vice President Jacobs and President Faure perform their ceremony. And again, please be proud to be student senate.
Thank you, Treasurer Lorenz. Moving on to Webmaster Harmon.
Thank you, Vice President Jacobs. I would just like to reiterate what the Executive Board previously said. You should definitely come out and make sure that they can perform for our next General Assembly meeting. We are proud to be Student Senate and report.
Thank you to our Executive Board. For context, Delta Sigma Pi always ends with saying, and we just had to reiterate that, because apparently that's secret, okay. All right, moving on to our committee. Moving on to committee reports, executive committee chair for. Get yourself together.
Okay, like Vice President Jacob said earlier, the absolute last day to bring an SR to the executive committee is next Monday. Please reach out to me with any questions and if you want the agenda and report.
All right, thank you, President Ford. Moving on to Finance Committee, Chair Parizo, Senator Wilcoxon will be standing in.
There's a video setting on the wall, unit video, it'll be dark on the front and it'll turn lights on back there.
That's like, somebody else do that.
Okay.
Chris, there's just a square that says video. Perfect, thank you.
Oh no.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So the finance committee has finished reviewing the special interest organization budgets, and we have allocated either 1,000 or if they ask for additional funding, we have decided how much to give all of them. That's what this is. I'll just scroll through it really fast, I guess. So you obviously see that there's the amount they requested, and then how much we gave them is the next column over. So that's all of them. Do they usually get them?
Motion to discuss.
So this is just a presentation tonight. All of that will be done in old business, so motion to discuss and motion to vote will be done in the following week in old business. What Senator Wilcoxon is just showing you and telling you is that this is what this is. Look over it during the next week and come with any motions of moving money around.
And I just also wanted to mention that we left $3,000 in the pot for any new organizations that are recognized in the next year, so that they can have like a minimum of like 1,000 in their budget. But yeah, you guys have like a week to look that over before you vote on it. But yeah.
Do you have programming and everything? Like the.
You know, the other sessions. I don't know what that is. I think next week. Yeah.
Are there any questions for Senator Wilcoxon? All right. So yes, just look this over in the next week, come with any motions to move that money. Like what Senator Wilcoxon said, that $3,000 is for new organizations. So any new organizations that get recognized by Student Senate in the fall will receive $1,000. Any organization that gets recognized in the spring will receive $500. So that's what that pot is for. But you can move money around by motions next week. So just look that over. And to be clear, this is going under our new financial model. So all of this budgeting is going under the new financial model, not our old one. Are there any questions before we move on? Is there a motion to open the floor to the advisors? Is there a second?
Second.
The floor is open.
Great, thank you very much. I'd like to let the Senate know that over a long history of time, and that history is a minimum of 25 years that we're aware of, before any of the three of us became advisors to the Senate. There's been a tradition of organizations asking for much more than they needed, because the tradition has been to then get a portion or some smaller amount than what you're actually requesting. So I know some of you are new senators and may not be aware of some of that history. So I'd like to let you know that, because looking at the requested amount versus the final budget is not enough of the story here. There has been a longstanding tradition of student organizations coming to the Senate for numbers that sometimes can seem rather outrageous at times, and in a hope of getting half of that, or 40% of that, or whatever it might be. So just because you see a high requested amount and a slightly smaller or a smaller final budget, I want you to know that. That doesn't necessarily reflect anybody turning its back upon that student organization. But there's a little bit of a false tradition there about needing to request more than you actually need in order to run your organization. So be sure to look at all of the columns, the actual spent, the remaining funds, and also be aware of that history as you take a look at this, okay? Thank you. Thank you for the yield.
Thank you for that clarification. We'll have Senator Wilcoxon put that into the report so that you all can look over that over the next week. But other than that, are there any questions? All right, seeing none, moving on to Administration Committee, Chair Flanagan. Seeing there's no report, moving on to Committee on Media, Chair Williamson.
No report.
Moving on to Screening Committee, Chair Bakri.
All right, I just wanted to let everyone know that applications for executive board positions are due tomorrow. So the form to apply was sent out in the campus-wide email. So if you or any of your constituents want to apply, send them to that email.
Thank you, Senator Bakri. Moving on to Committee on Residence, Chair Abraham.
I will be reaching out to ResLife to see if there are any services that can be provided to the students at Berg following the safety incident that recently occurred. That's all.
Thank you, Senator Abraham. Moving on to Dining Services, Chair Dollison. Looks like there's no report. So moving on to Diversity and Inclusion, Chair Howard. Moving on to Discretionary Funds Committee, Chair Robb. Looks like there's no report. Moving on to Elections Committee, Chair Ford.
All right, so election day is this week. It's this Wednesday. The polls are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please encourage your constituents to vote and make sure you're voting. Encourage people in your classes to vote. It's really important that we have a good turnout. That's what it is. Turnout in this election. So make sure that you're encouraging people to vote. Also, if you're running for a position, receipts are due before the polls close on the 20th. Are there any questions? All right, and
Thank you, President Ford. Moving on to new business, I would ask the sponsors and co-sponsors of SR 003, SB 22 to please come up to the podium and present your SR.
Okay, so we have a resolution calling for safety and lighting on campus. So these are just some issues which we saw, and mainly we are proposing it for, what I'm trying to get the map. Okay, for sorority complex and maybe Duesenberg Housing Welcome Center, then a pathway near the library, like downstairs, and freshman parking lot and the parking garage near the counseling center. We just believe that there is no more light, we need more lighting and more blue emergency poles put around there. And we got a response that maybe map of B-line stops, as we are proposing a B-line stop. So this is kind of like a B-line map. So as you can see, the sorority housing is right kind of there, but then the wheel line stop is like far away from there, and the next one is near the Union. So maybe somewhere between there, if it's possible. But yeah, any questions?
Are there any initial questions for Senator Kamra or Senator Hillebrand? Motion to discuss and motion to vote will be done on old business next week, but thank you, senators, for proposing this legislation. If you guys have any concerns or suggestions for them in this next coming week, please reach out to them, or any friendly amendments can be made next week in old business. All right, so moving on to old business, bylaw proposal 001, SB 22. In the absence of Senator Parizo, I'll just quickly go over this. So this was proposed to you all last week in new business. So what this bylaw proposal does is just amend what we passed on March 21st in the new bylaws regarding the per diem system. So the per diem system is what Student Senate funds per day, say with traveling, like conferences and such like that. A lot of the details of this, while the per diem system was put into our bylaws, the details were left out in the revisions. So what this bylaw proposal is doing is just putting those details that were in our old bylaws into these new bylaws so that they will be ready to be used for next academic year. If this bylaw proposal were to be next year, it wouldn't take place until 2023, 2024. So that's why we wanted to do this now. Are there any questions, concerns, amendments? Motion to discuss, motion to vote.
Motion to vote.
There's a motion to vote. Is there a second? All in favor of voting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All in favor of approving bylaw proposal 001 SP 22, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, bylaw proposal 001 SP 22 passes 19-0-0. Thank you all. All right, that is it. So moving into public comment. Are there any public comments in the audience or on YouTube? Seeing none, moving into postmortem. We're just trying to have some fun in the next few weeks, so that's why we're just being a little, weird up here. Thank you all for dealing with us, and we're just trying to get you pumped for the next 3 weeks as we kind of finish out our time here in this legislative session. So thank you all, and thank you for your hard work. Just have 3 more weeks to go. If you're running an election, good luck. All of you make sure to vote, except for seniors. All of you make sure to vote on Wednesday between 8 and 5, and just support your fellow candidates, support your fellow student body, and try to get that turnout. With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? I adjourn this meeting at 8:58 p.m. Thank you all.